One of the biggest differences between BT3 and the other titles in this series is the item system. In the other two, the whole thing was rather straightforward. You get the best items that boost your stats and equip them. Nothing fancy, just simple stat boosts. Here things take more planning to get the most out of your character. One last thing before I get started. This video is going to be more about tips than a true guide. The item descriptions are accurate, and I assume you know how to get more item slots already. Before you even start the process of equipping items, get to know the character you're going to be making stronger first, as well if it's going to be human or computer controlled. The same setup will most likely not work on the same character as well. Things to look at are the strength of their physical and key attacks, how many key blasts they can fire off, the cost of their blast 2 moves, how fast they charge key. Well, you get the general idea. It also helps if you have some idea of what you want the character to be strong in and what you're willing to have them be weak in. Of course, this will mainly be based on your playstyle, but in the case of it being computer controlled, know how it fights first. First, I'll cover stat items. If you are going to control the character, then these items won't be as important as the support items most of the time. Of course, they are far from useless. In terms of boosting a stat, these will work better than the support items. The only real thing of note here is that you shouldn't be afraid to use the items that boost a stat while lowering another. Good use of these will yield better results with fewer slots used. Finally, if the character is going to be computer controlled, you will find these more useful than support items most of the time. The main reason for this is simply how the computer fights. For example, if you increase the number of vanishing attacks the character can do, the computer will most likely rarely use it. While on the topic of computer-controlled characters, you might want to equip one of the AI items to better control how they fight. While you can do this, some AIs will work better on some characters than others. So even with these, you will still have to work with the strengths of your character. For example, if they have weak physical attacks, don't equip the Trunks AI setting, for example. Also, be sure to work the setup around how they will fight and not the other way around. Now onto the support items. This is the main point of this whole video. There is a much wider selection of support items this time around, and a much greater importance in using them. They have a large range of what they can do now, and not simply boosting stats or adding more dragon homing attacks either. Things such as making your character immune to being stunned by normal attacks, being able to stun people with normal attacks that you wouldn't be able to, or raising a character's base keyline for a few examples. However, most items come with a downside. If this is how many slots they take, or lowering a stat, the point of having a goal in mind is even more important when you equip these. For example, if you wanted to focus on having the strongest physical attacks possible, a good setup for that would be this. If defense is what you seek, then this would work well. If you're looking for just a balanced setup for all your stats, then this might be what you'd want to do. For some character-focused setups, look at the following examples. As Vegeta is skilled in using normal key attacks, focusing on them would be a smart move. So a good setup for that would be this. For Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he has a very nice move in, I'll beat you in 5 seconds. Having a setup to focus on using this would be a good idea. So this setup would work well for doing that. Frieza has some very good Blast 2 attacks, so putting the focus on them will pay off well. This setup would achieve that rather well. So those are some examples of what you can pull off with this system. The best thing to do though is just experiment on your own and find out what you like. One final note here. The item Namek Power is the most broken item you can get legally. It gives a large stat boost in every stat and only takes 1 slot. While it does only work on Namek, chances are you will pick the stage anyway. I hope this helps some people, and have fun making the strongest character that you can.